few days ago, actually Monday of last week, I'm reading this research done by Harvard University talking about something called weathering in black people. So the more you experience stress, you experience poverty, your body. You know what weathering is?
Wedding is for rocks, like breaking down of rocks.
Thank you. Your body is going through that. So, as a black person, your body is going through weathering just from the amount of stress you experience. So, usually, a 35-year-old pregnant woman will be declared a geriatric pregnancy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But as a black woman, you start to experience geriatric pregnancy at age 25.
Ellie.
Yeah?
At age 20. So now this research is
No, hold on.
encouraging
Are you
black
serious
people.
though? Like,
Yes.
so that means if they want to actually start giving birth, like you have to start doing early.
They start at 20.
Then you should start at
18.
16 to 18 to between. So ideally between 18 now. Scratch out the 16 because that's what happens in Africa and it's kind of normal because we have those life there. But here, legally, starting by 18 years old to 25 years old, a black woman should be producing her kids if she wants to have a healthy pregnancy.
Damn.
A lot of
Oscar.
For me, like I had a
quick.
child when
Oscar,
I was
start
like
to-
start people.
when I was I had my daughter when I was
Also, your girlfriend
17.
is still 20 or 18 right now. Not 32. Or, you don't cast 32.
Like I had my daughter when I was 17 and there was no complications. Since 17, I cannot carry since 25 actually.
Yeah.
I cannot carry a normal teen pregnancy. And the doctors look me in the face and go, it's just one of those things that we place on the will of God.
Exactly. At this point, what do you want them to say?
That's exactly what they tell me. I would have felt more comfortable with my doctor telling me there are research that prove that the stress that is based on black women put her at the risk for not having a successful pregnancy after 30 years old, instead of telling me it is the will of God.
They don't know. Most of these people don't know
Yeah,
these
most of
things.
them don't know.
How do you say they don't know when
Many
there's a
of them.
research that is in the health field and it's our
You
competence?
know
And
how many?
I mean, yes, that's true. But fitness to practice tell me to find the information.
If you want to do that one, that means they'll just stop working as doctors and go back to school because
I'll
there's
be
so
doing
much
the
to read.
research,
There's
yes.
so many
So much
hours they
to
stay in the
read.
hospital.
But I would still say for cultural competency,
That's one of the
doctors should
problems.
look.
Yeah.
I have a
The
question.
cultural.
Yeah, go ahead. It was
You know,
Are you scared?
this conversation are just actually, make me thank God because I feel like God is very gracious to us though.
Amen.
Even given all these research, medical things, a lot of people still get pregnant, give birth to children.
Oh, yeah.
Go through
Oh,
the
yeah.
process and everything,
yeah.
right? It's just like, okay, now if you step down on the more granular things, you can see where the differences are. But yeah, grateful that, grateful. I'm just grateful right now that, man, a lot of women don't know this, but they still give birth and still have like joy of children and still move on with life, right? So good stuff, interesting things. My question now is, how do we, now knowing all these things, how do we get better for ourselves? Like, how do we get our mind from being from that constant state of stress to a more relaxed
Poverty.
tone? How do we how do we
Vision
make like
2020.
conscious efforts now to adjust, adjust
Even
the
the
longevity?
Canadians.
Right.
They
So
it's hard.
So what I learned recently, I'm full blown, or I'm taking this black course now, and it's the goal of that course is just to educate you about being black and how you can save yourself while being black. And one thing I took from this is the people have to know before they can act.
True.
That's the one thing that class is based off of. There are things that I didn't know about myself, that are things I didn't know about my friends around me and what we do. That's why you see, it's the simple things. If you say what it is that we can do as black people to alleviate some of these stress, use the little resources that are around you.
Yep.
You have a community. How many times do we respect the community? We overlook the community, and the community is the most integral part of your well-being. If you even went through health policies and stuff, they send you back to your community.
Yes.
Anywhere you go. There's another research, it is very scary, that black women do not get the health they will deserve because they're always seen as alone.
I was like, they're seen as alone or what?
They're
Like,
seen as alone because they do not have. So, say for example, women going to the hospital to give birth. To get that black organ to go to the hospital for those
with
visits,
you.
for those pregnancies, she probably going there by herself. And then sometimes during childbirth, they force them to even come in and cut that cord.
Not the spouses.
But in reality, we have a community. I have 3 kids. I've never had to raise them by myself. If I wanted to go to Mexico tomorrow, I'll call Lily and say, hey, I'm bringing my kids. We have that connection, but are we using it to the best of for our health? There's the information. When we come together, we still tell one another that cup. That's how it's always been. You can't change my mind
Exactly.
to tell me that's not how that cup has been. When in reality, I can open this cup up and there's 2 in there. But we're not giving ourselves the opportunity that there are new research, there's new information that is there to save our life. Like, for example, I just told you about free food now.
That's
if
where
you
we
were
start.
if you were part of a community constantly having this conversation, you will find out. These are the important part. The first part of your health is your community,
Community
because if
engagement
you do
with
not
people.
know, you will never act.